Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Smith of the Quant Edge in the Black VTF here at T3 Live with this week's market wrap up. And first off, let's give a hats off to our veterans on Veterans Day. Thanks for everybody who has served, is serving, and will serve in the United States military. So this week, what a week, election week, and we got another Brexit style event where you can't see it on this chart, but the old SPY puking down towards the Brexit lows and then coming right all the way back up. So the thing about it was actually a little more fragmented than you'd think. But we'll get to that in a second. As always, I make a weekend video much longer where I break everything down. Smith in the Black on YouTube, all one word. And I also tweet it out at Rob in the Black, so you can check in for that. Today we got an inside day, though. And so this is a little stagnation here for the SPY. Qs go inside day as well, as you can see, well off the highs. And I'm going to get to that in a second. So at any given day, what we can do is we can gauge the broader averages against each other to see what we might want to do. And anytime you have something still inside on a longer term time frame, you can expect to get chopped up a little bit. So we did have strength in the small cappers. IWM went back up to the highs, and that was very nice. If you take this out, once again, you'll be able to see this, the daily broadening formation. Here you can stretch it out like this. Lower lows, boom, 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 boom. Here's a tighter one, and then all the way back up to the highs, as we've seen so many times, right to there. Thank you very much. So, but coming in next week, like I said, we're going to have to discern all this strength and weakness because it was not broad-based. The Dow Jones certainly came rocketing off the lows and now an inside day. And we had the financials really led the charge, the KRE, the regional banks. And if you look at this regional banks, you can see in the monthly, we've been watching this formation for a long time, this big monthly broadening formation here, and higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low, and then all the way back up. Here's your inside month, and bam, right back up to the highs. And you had like SIVB, I mean, you name it, and these things were just rocking. But this is always good to find something to get some good point gainers. A lot of those things are low priced, and depending on what you like to trade, like 120 come 145 as opposed to like a Fitbit, which is fine. 22, 24, and that's not bad for the week. Goldman Sachs, the financials were just rocking. So we'll see if that continues. We also knew that when things started to go to the transports, because when other things had been dropping off, remember we talked about a lot of talk about the SPY doing this, it's going down, inside day here and then dropping toward the lows. So when we reverse back up, as opposed to, like, I want to buy the most oversold, you want to try and look for things that are still up here, and that was the transports here, still hanging near the highs. So it's really good to go at that point, and stuff like UPS here going inside week to the upside. So we're partaking in that, if you will. So trannies had a nice week, but if you were in the wrong spot, oh boy, TLT bonds ruined, crushed here. Bonds just fell apart, and I tweeted this one out. If you want to know some of the terminology, I use a momentum shooter, a gap down shooting star, and never stops out. Off it goes. And if you were in the Fanger stocks, oh boy, it's like, it's my go-tos. Wrong answer. Facebook, Google. Oops. Google. Yeah, nice week they got there. Peak. And then you had, it's Amazon. So all that kind of stuff, having no fun. Netflix, having no fun at all. So we really want to see where all this rotation goes. XLP, they didn't go into defense, so that's for sure. It was pretty much gangbuster banks and large cap industrials, because you can see the XLP down, the utilities down, all that kind of stuff. The guns didn't like that. RGR, SWHC. ISRG, so there was plenty of stuff on the short side, as a matter of fact. And then, of course, the one that they how they want to short it, but NVIDIA, breaking hearts again, smashing right through them. And that was a nice one, too, that we got grabbed on the inside 60 right off the opening here, and just goes powering for the rest of the day. But when you have this divergence, we really want to see how this plays out, because you can see this QQQ, actually doji on the week, and going inside day. So really nothing out of that. And so one of the things you want to be careful is when you see this big outside day, you have an inside day, but we'd prefer the down sideways measured move because you're more likely to take that side out. If you go up, you still have to take this out, or it's a multi-inside pattern. And anytime you see a multi-inside pattern, you want to be really aware of any new hours, new days, even new weeks in this case, until you can get out of that, because this is still considered consolidating, and still it does. Another thing that's interesting here is that I talk about the mechanics of what people call a turnaround Tuesday, and that's what you're going to see. You're going to have a massive inside days coming in next Monday, and so we either get what we call a simultaneous break, where they all break in the same direction, and it's a big move in the market, or some go up, some go down. And then on Tuesday, anything that remains, whichever way the market goes on Monday, anything that remains inside on Tuesday, that's what the makings of turnaround Tuesday is. And so that's going to be interesting. I'll talk about that in the weekend video. But when we look at the divergence, we've been watching to see if the retail woke up. It certainly did, but it's nowhere near the highs. Had a nice move off the lows, XRT. Nice move off the lows, but nowhere near the highs. Same with the home builders. Nice little move, but nowhere near the highs. And then you have oil dropping on this, and the XLE doing nothing, and OIH doing nothing. So there's those wild cards as well. And then you have IBB, which initially popped on it, so it looks good on the week, but in general, pop a gap and sit. Gaps up and does nothing here for the last few days, but certainly comes alive a little bit, so we'll keep an eye on that. And, usually when you're watching the IBB, it's a lot easier to break it down stock by stock because there's always action in individual names, and so stuff like Alexion today was good for us because we knew about the inside day, and then right out the chute, we had a nice inside 30. Here, a down sideways extended measured move, and so in that's arena. Usually, it's better just to go off that stuff. We even had dry ships showing Facebook and stuff how to do it. Dry ships coming out of the ashes. It's biannual ripper, but how far that always goes, we'll see. So in general, what we have is massive inside days. We've got a divergence in the sectors that we want to see how this rotation continues. Is it continue to pile into the financials? Is it what is this the makings of any new rally going to look like? But for the most part, the broader averages did fine outside of the Qs. I said the small cappers leading the charge of Mercer, and that's the way they should. So coming in inside days, divergent in the sectors, and all this stuff has to work out. And until it does, you really certainly want to make sure that you are in the right spot, because if you weren't, you got slammed. All right, that's going to do it for this week. Hope everybody has a great weekend. I'm Rob Smith in the Black Quant Edge VTF here at T3 Live with this week's Market Wrap Up.